Thanks for joining us for CBN News Today. I'm Charlene Aaron.
And I'm Ephraim Graham. The U.S.-Mexico border crisis is fueling new outrage in some towns across the U.S. In Southern California, a tense standoff in which residents block buses from bringing illegal immigrants to their community. Dale Hurd has the story.
The townspeople of Murrieta, California are angry, and they blame President Obama.
Where's the camera? Mr. Obama, stop it. That's what I want to say.
At a packed Murrieta City Council meeting Tuesday, most speakers blamed the president for allowing an immigrant invasion.
I don't want to lose our community. I feel like we're being destroyed.
An estimated 52,000 children have crossed the border since October, and another 80,000 are expected to cross the border this year in what the White House calls a humanitarian crisis. Homeland Security buses carrying illegals were turned back from a facility near San Diego after protesters blocked the vehicles from reaching a suburban processing center. Some protesters were there to support the illegals.
It's children. It's not their fault. Their parents sent them over here. They're innocent children.
But many were strongly opposed.
They're coming here for free food, free housing, free medical. Our hospitals are already overburdened.
You need to respect their rules. My parents came over. They're not waving Cuban and Mexican flags. They're waving American flags.
Eventually, the buses turned back and headed south.
This is a victory for Murrieta, and if they go anywhere else, stop them from coming there too, because it's what's right.
Dale Hurd, CBN News.
Tropical storm Arthur is making its way north along the East Coast, threatening 4th of July plans for the weekend. A hurricane watch has been issued in parts of North Carolina, and a tropical storm watch is in effect for South Carolina and Florida. Still, Arthur is not scaring off tourists, even though red flags are flying along beaches and lifeguards are warning swimmers of the dangerous rip currents.
If you're not a strong swimmer and we're flying red flags, we advise you to probably stay out of the water or go very shallow. Keep the children in very shallow water, keep them with you.
And as we can see, the waves are pretty high today, so we're going to keep a close eye on them. It's a beautiful day, nice breeze, clear skies. You would never know there's a tropical system out there.
But the lovely weather can be deceiving. The U.S. National Hurricane Center says Arthur could become a hurricane by tomorrow.
President Obama blames the Republican Congress for blocking highway construction and transit programs across the country. The Federal Highway Trust Fund is getting low and will be on empty by the end of August. That means states will not receive federal aid to help fix potholes, maintain bridges, and pay for other transit projects. The president says he'll take executive action if Congress doesn't do something soon.
As long as they insist on taking no action whatsoever that will help anybody, I'm going to keep on taking actions on my own that can help the middle class.
In 2009, President Obama pushed through $800 billion in stimulus spending, and much of it was supposed to be used for infrastructure. Nearly a dozen plans have been proposed to build the current fund back up, but legislators on both sides cannot reach an agreement.
Well, more problems for Obamacare, and they could potentially jeopardize coverage for millions of people under the new health care law. A government watchdog report says there are still problems with personal information for many people who have signed up for insurance under Obamacare. The Inspector General found that key personal details submitted by many people, like annual income and citizenship, don't match the records that the government has on file. The issue could turn into another Obamacare political headache for the White House.
The Supreme Court has taken actions that confirm the ruling in the Hobby Lobby case is a blow against the entire contraceptive mandate in Obamacare, not just certain methods of contraception. In the Hobby Lobby case, the court said private corporations did not have to pay for certain kinds of birth control. Tuesday, the court let stand lower court rulings in favor of businesses that objected to paying for all forms of birth control. The justices also ordered lower courts that ruled against companies to reconsider their decisions.
Turning overseas, the leader of the Islamic terror group known as ISIS is calling for a holy war in Iraq. Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi is urging Muslims to immigrate to the territory his group has seized to help build an Islamic state. He made a special appeal to those with practical skills to come answer the dire need of Muslims. He also called on jihadi fighters to escalate fighting in the holy month of Ramadan. Meanwhile, the U.S. chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff says the key role of U.S. troops in Iraq is to assess whether security forces can hold together. That comes as Iraqi forces are fighting to push ISIS out of Tikrit. The Islamic militants seized the city last month, and it's been the scene of fierce clashes.
Rioting in Arab Jerusalem today after reports that an Arab teen was kidnapped and murdered. Jerusalem's mayor immediately condemned the murder. Meanwhile, Israel shifted gears on Tuesday evening following the funerals of 3 Israeli teenagers kidnapped and murdered by terrorists. Chris Mitchell has the story.
Tens of thousands of mourners paid their last respects to the 3 teens who were buried side by side not far from Jerusalem. Israelis took to the streets and expressed a variety of reactions: grief, revenge, and others demanding action from the government.
I want the government to get together, get the army together, and to crush Hamas now.
Today is really a day of national mourning in Israel. I don't think there was in the past few years a cause or a reason that you can really say that the entire nation got behind together in prayer and hopes for the return of these 3 guys.
Just hours after the funerals, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu laid out his plan to deal with the terror group, capture the killers and their accomplices, hit Hamas hard in Judea and Samaria, and expand the operation against Hamas in Gaza as necessary.
We will have to take decisions, as we did yesterday in the IDF taking action to root out some of the terror infrastructure in Gaza where rockets are fired at our cities. Have to take decisions that are going to protect our civilian population.
According to an army statement, Israel has already debilitated Hamas on every level, but it's not finished yet. After launching more than 90 rockets at Israel since the abductions, Hamas leader Khaled Mashal said his organization doesn't want an escalation with Israel and wasn't connected to the kidnapping. The Israeli Air Force hit dozens of terror targets in Gaza in retaliation for the rockets the last 2 weeks. The State Department has urged Israel and the Palestinians to exercise restraint. Israeli ambassador to the U.S., Ron Dermer, told CBN News Israel's expectations from the U.S. are clear.
I expect that the United States will stand firmly by Israel's side as we confront terrorism.
Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
The European Court of Human Rights has upheld France's law banning Muslim veils from being worn on the streets. The law restricts the wearing of veils that cover faces. It was the first ruling of its kind since France passed a law in 2010 that forbids anyone to hide his or her face in various places. The court rejected the arguments of a French woman who said the law violated her freedom of religion and was discriminatory. The court ruled the law has a legitimate purpose of promoting harmony in a diverse population.
The U.S. men's national team is out of the World Cup after a heartbreaking 2-1 loss to Belgium. Belgium unleashed a steady onslaught of shots against the U.S. goal Tuesday, but goalie Tim Howard delivered a valiant effort. He prevented 16 goals. That's more saves than any World Cup goalkeeper in history. The game was tied 0-0 when it headed into overtime. After Belgium scored 2 goals, the U.S. responded with a goal of its own, but couldn't quite squeeze out a second one. U.S. fans around the world rallied like never before during this World Cup, with record-setting watch parties across the nation. While the U.S. World Cup run ended in defeat, some are calling it a big win for U.S. soccer.
Coming up, arming teachers. Is it a good idea to put guns in schools?
Pat Boone here with a word about bank safety. Do you think your money is safe in the bank? Don't bank on it. A generation ago, bank accounts felt secure and they paid interest. This encouraged the virtue of thrift and saving. But today, bank accounts pay virtually nothing, and they've shifted from low risk to high risk. For example, did you know your money deposited in most U.S. banks could be subject to limited withdrawal and even confiscation? Oh, yes. And that's just the first of 19 risks explained in a new white paper entitled Don't Bank on It. You still think your bank deposits are safe? You better get this vital new Don't Bank on It white paper now. Call the number on the screen or visit SwissAmerica.com, the gold standard. Learn how simple it is to become your own banker today.
Millions of Americans with an ostomy live their lives to the fullest every day. And over the last 10 years, thousands have chosen Liberator Medical as their caring and reliable resource for ostomy supplies. Liberator Medical is a nationally accredited Medicare, Medicaid, and insurance provider, so we can handle all your Medicare, Medicaid, and insurance paperwork and billing. And Liberator Medical has been chosen as a preferred supplier by all the leading ostomy manufacturers, including Coloplast, Hollister, Convatec, and Generics. We supply all these leading ostomy brands, so you can always get the ostomy supplies and accessories you want and trust. And all of our ostomy care specialists are product certified by the manufacturers. Shipping is free and discreetly delivered right to your door. Unhappy with your present ostomy supplier? Call Liberator Medical and ask about our free ostomy sampling program. We also offer catheters and urological supplies.
Call 1-800-513-3076. That's 1-800-513-3076.
A federal judge says Kentucky's same-sex marriage ban is unconstitutional. His decision did not deal with whether the state would have to issue marriage licenses to same-sex couples. Kentucky's governor plans to appeal the ruling. And in Indiana, a federal appeals court ordered the state to recognize the marriage of a lesbian couple because one of the women is terminally ill. The couple was married in another state.
A Florida Republican congressional candidate's campaign was the target of racist vandalism. Someone vandalized Glow Smith's billboard picture with white face paint. Smith is an African-American woman running in the GOP primary against Congresswoman Corinne Brown in an overwhelmingly Democratic district. This attack follows a string of bias incidents against Black Republicans. Smith says she has also had a number of signs stolen, but she did not expect this kind of attack. Still, she forgives whoever is responsible.
Teachers in some Missouri school districts are being trained to carry concealed weapons in classrooms. In light of recent school shootings, lawmakers in the state passed a measure that would equip teachers to carry guns. The measure is designed to help protect schools in areas where police response to a shooting may take too long. It's an issue that has drawn protest and praise. Earlier, Mark Martin spoke with Missouri State Representative Kevin Elmer for more about this bill.
Representative Elmer, why is this such an important issue, and what would you like to see happen?
Well, I think in light of recent school shootings and that continue to seem to be more prevalent in our society, I think that it's imperative that we do everything we can to protect our children in the schools. And here in Missouri, in particular in my area, I have school districts that are more urban, and I also have ones that are more rural. And this bill is to address more often those in the rural areas where the response time from police and sheriff's departments is longer than it would be in an urban setting. And this is to provide another avenue where that someone could be trained, identified on campus as someone who can respond to these situations in that interim while they're waiting for the professionals to get there.
How have school districts and teachers responded to this?
Well, it's been a mixed bag. In my school district here in Nixa, they have resource officers that are actually trained officers with the sheriff's department and local law enforcement that are on campus, so they don't see a need for it. But yet, if you go out in a rural district where that they're sitting out there with response times, it could be 15 minutes or longer, they're saying that they would like to have someone trained on campus.
Well, talk about the safety issue. Will teachers be properly trained for this?
Well, we've got the Department of Public Safety that's supposed to set up guidelines for what goes into the training for these particular teachers. So it's the intent that they would identify some very stringent training, because obviously you want someone that if they're going to encounter someone in a situation like this, to have as much training as possible and to be as close to a law enforcement officer with that same type of training.
How are you responding to those who oppose such a move?
Well, I say that it's still local control, because this doesn't occur until the local school boards post to the public the fact that they intend on doing something like this, get public input, and then move forward with it. So it's really up to individual communities. We're not forcing anything on anybody. We're just putting another tool in the toolbox to provide safety for children in school districts that feel they need it.
Okay, Missouri State Representative Kevin Elmer, thank you so much for your time today, sir.
All right, thank you.
Up next, how summer heat turns deadly for children. You may think you'd never leave your kid in the car, but we'll show you why you're at risk and what's being done that may save lives.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand-name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
Announcing an important breakthrough in healthcare that can benefit everyone. If you or anyone you love needs affordable health insurance, regardless of a pre-existing medical condition, call Quick Insurance 123 today and get the immediate relief you deserve. Quick Insurance 123 was created to provide affordable health insurance to all uninsured Americans, with or without pre-existing conditions. This is not a discount card. This is a real insurance program that lets you choose from many affordable health plans, with access to doctors, hospitals, emergency services, and more. So call the number on your screen now and get the health coverage you need just for calling. As a special bonus, we'll send you a free prescription savings card that could save you up to 85% on your prescriptions. That's right, you could save up to 85% on your prescriptions just for calling. Call Quick Insurance 123 to find out how you can get affordable health insurance and receive your free prescription savings card just for calling. Don't wait. Getting a free quote is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Call today.
Hello? Is this thing on? Hey, kids, do you love games? And do you love discovering things? Well, do ya?
Then you're gonna love this. It's the new free Superbook Kids Bible app. You can play games, watch videos, find answers to your questions, and a whole lot more. The new Superbook Kids Bible app. Free downloads available on iTunes and Google Play now.
In Philadelphia, 5 children were found locked inside a vehicle in front of a convenience store. Police in Philadelphia say that their daycare owner, Karen Thompson, will be charged with endangering the welfare of children. Thompson left the children, ages 6 months to 9 years old, in the car while she was shopping inside that store. Officers say the SUV was running and the air conditioning was on. The children were taken to a nearby hospital as a precaution, and doctors confirmed they were all in good health.
An Atlanta father is charged with leaving his 1-year-old son to die in a hot car. But was the child's death accidental or intentional? Police are investigating after the parents searched hot car deaths on the internet before the child died.
It is a tragedy either way, and one thing is certain: too many children are mistakenly left to die inside hot cars in the summer. Lori Johnson shows us why this is happening more often, and she has some life-saving tips to keep it from happening to you.
May 25th, 2011. Brett and Christy Cavallero didn't know it, but that hot morning would be the last spent with their daughter, nicknamed Ray Ray. Brett had planned to drop her off at daycare on the way to work.
I took her to the truck with Brett, and we both put her in her car seat together.
Ray Ray fell asleep in the car. Brett forgot she was there.
Daycare is only about 300 yards to the left, and I drop her off, and then I circle back and continue on this way. Well, I took a right instead.
And so our tragedy revolves around one wrong turn.
My best guess is that when I made that right-hand turn, my mind was on autopilot. I'm now driving to work.
It wasn't until I picked Brett up for our lunch date that he remembered that he couldn't remember dropping her off at school that day.
And I said to my wife, I think Ray's in my truck.
By that time, it was too late. Ray Ray had become one of nearly 300 children to die after being forgotten in a hot car. If you think you would never forget your child is in the car and that only a bad parent would do that, think again.
The sad truth is any of us could do that.
Psychologist David Mitchell says our short-term memory only holds about 7 items at a time.
If you could picture almost like a glass, my short-term memory is a glass, and I pour my 7 items in there. In order for me to add more in there, some has to come out.
And our brains sometimes create false memories.
But in the short-term memory, the checklist, if you will, of the things that we have to do, if we are going through our mental checklist and something distracts us, something, pulls our attention, I'm in the middle of a thought, I'm trying to, figure something out, then our checklist, we may have gone through and actually checked off on our list something that we haven't done.
Forgotten infants are most often behind the driver in rear-facing car seats.
If anyone's ever seen that in a car, if you're the driver, you really can't tell if there's a baby in that car seat or not. I mean, it's not like their head sticks above the top, because if it does, they're in the wrong car seat.
There are lots of things you can do to prevent this from happening to you. Just little habits, really. For instance, every time you get out of your car, just look in the car seat. Always put your purse, briefcase, or computer next to the car seat. Also, keep a toy with the car seat at all times. When the baby is in the seat, put the toy up front with you. Brett and Christy Cavallero also came up with Ray Ray's pledge for daycare providers.
Should the child not arrive by his or her usual arrival time and a planned absence has not already been communicated, they will call one or both parents until they find out where that child's whereabouts are.
Even NASA got into the act when engineer Chris Edwards invented a car seat alarm.
Well, we had a local incident where a child died, and this was my way of dealing with it.
The alarm consists of this car seat sensor, which is activated by the weight of your baby in the seat. Another sensor with an alarm goes on your keychain. If you walk away from the car with your baby still in the car seat, the alarm goes off.
Probably 30 to 50 feet.
Edwards calls his invention a simple way to save lives.
So the parts in it are very inexpensive. They're readily available, so it should be easy for a manufacturer to make a product out of them.
Other devices like this are currently on the market.
If our vehicles can tell us if we've let our headlights on so we don't get a dead battery, I think it's equally, of course, more important to have a reminder so we don't have a dead baby.
But right now, it's up to the parents to put as many safety nets into place as possible. Lori Johnson, CBN News.
Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? Hi, I'm George Foreman. People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can provide patent referrals and submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
For your free inventors information, call 1-800-461-9290. That's 1-800-461-9290.
If you had a choice between going bald and a full head of hair, which would you choose? Advances in medical science have resulted in the world's first and only permanent solution to hair loss.
Yes!
You wash it, you cut it. It's your own real Naturally growing hair. When it comes to hair restoration, no one in the world has more experience than Bosley. The results look completely natural and are affordable on nearly any budget. But the entire process can't be explained in 60 brief seconds. So to find out more about this clinically proven and permanent solution to hair loss, call now to receive your free no-obligation information kit. It'll answer all of your questions about hair loss and hair restoration. Plus, we'll also send you this $250 gift certificate just for calling. Every day you wait, you're losing more hair. So don't put it off any longer. You owe it to yourself to find out the facts. Choose hair. Choose Bosley.
Call 800-868-9957. That's 800-868-9957.
At its heart, the World Cup and other professional sporting events are about the thrill of competition, watching athletes at the highest level compete for the prize.
That's right. For many, it serves as an inspiration, including children who can use sports to aspire to higher goals in life. Stan Jeter has this report from one of Brazil's notorious slums.
It's a morning like any other in Aglomerado da Serra, the largest slum in Belo Horizonte. And the Eagles team is ready to play. Before the game, their coach challenges players to run onto the field and fight like David against Goliath. It's the final game of a championship organized by Christian ministry Compassion. After the prayer, the ball is in play. And for a time, these young Brazilians can forget the daily risks they face, the violence, drug addiction, and sexual exploitation that surrounds them. Project Compassion, directed by Babel Quinlan, gives these kids extra motivation for survival.
Nós estamos no país do futebol. Na realidade, a gente trabalha uma série de coisas.
We work on a series of issues through this sport. The professors that we have here are trained, they've taken a number of courses, and come from other countries. So we understand that it's a tremendous tool for evangelism.
Compassion chooses the neediest children and youth and offers them education in the arts, languages, music, and of course, soccer. But more than that, it offers them a message of hope.
I like it a lot because they teach us how to use pencils.
I learned to draw geometric designs that can turn into other designs.
The project is rescuing children who otherwise would become drug traffickers or prostitutes, turning them into good citizens.
We not only give these people with all their history, education, sports, discipline, and those things, but we also present Jesus Christ to them. So they'll know that He is the one who will heal their wounds. So they'll have a much broader vision of their future and believe they can leave this reality behind.
Project Compassion partners with CBN's Orphan's Promise, which is using music and other tools to fight against human trafficking and the sexual exploitation of children. Today, the Eagles beat their rivals. More importantly, they're winning the battle against the evil that surrounds them. Stan Jeter, CBN News.
And what a positive and uplifting story.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Well, that's going to do it for now on CBN News Today. You can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about at cbnnews.com.
And tell us what you think about the stories you've seen here today. You can do it on Facebook or at CBN News on Twitter. Hope you'll join us right here again next time. Make it a wonderful Wednesday, everybody.
Inside every child is a hero, a leader, a friend to others, someone who helps out, who does the right thing, who dreams of what they can be, but they still need our help.
What should I do? What should I say? How should I feel?
That's where Superbook comes in. It provides moral and spiritual truths through situations children can relate to, teaching God's Word to the children you love. Join the Superbook DVD Club and receive Superbook's newest episodes as they're available, plus 2 copies to share with others, all for your gift of only $25. Get Superbook today and watch the miracles happen.
Every day, people are connecting on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Now you can be part of the conversation and connect on topics you care about through 700 Club Interactive. Log on to Facebook, Twitter, or go to YouTube and share your opinions, your prayer requests, and your videos while making friends in our community.
Well, welcome to the show.
Join the conversation on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. 700 Club Interactive. Be a part of the show.